Bertie, Babs, why isn't the Eggman here? I'm starving to death for some eggs. Please, Babs, come in and give me some eggs.
I'm coming, Mama, I'm coming. You can hold on.
Cotton! Babs won't give me my eggs. Cotton, please come in here and give me my eggs.
Be in a minute, Edie. Don't you worry. I'll fry you up some, honey.
Eggs!
I know your face.
Yes, this is Jessica Fletcher.
Tak, koniečno. J.B. Fletcher. Ja, bol I'm a big fan. I've read Audition of Pollock 3 times.
In English, that is Murder at Midnight.
Midnight, that's wonderful book. My favorite.
Maybe because I surprised myself with that one. I didn't know who the killer was until the last 12 pages.
It's a pleasure to shake hands of such fine writer.
And hello everybody, and welcome to episode 96 of the Cabot Cove Confab Podcast. This is Sean.
And Steve.
And this evening, or this morning, wherever you are, we are going to talk... You know what? No, I'm going to introduce this. Because of the name of the episode, I'd like to introduce it differently.
Okay, alright.
Here we go. Alright, cue music, and then zoom in on me. Okay. Good evening, boys and ghouls. Steve and I are rushing to tell you an excellent murder mystery about a robbery that goes oh so wrong. I call this, tawdry tale, an egg to die for. And then zoom into a drawing of like a dead body in a fountain.
Well, do the cackle. I want to hear the cackle. Yeah, there you go.
As I was doing that,
Yeah.
I was afraid that I was going to sound like Kamala Harris. You know, when she laughs, they make fun of her laugh.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I have to take. I don't go to the channels that you watch.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, we're not recording. We are recording. Okay, yeah. I'm so sorry. Well, we talked so much before we started to record that. Anyway.
You forgot already. Wow.
It is time for, I think, pre-show banter.
Oh.
Hello, bonjour, buenos dias. Good day, guten tag, konnichiwa. Ciao, shalom, dobre dien. Hello to all the children of the world.
Okay. Well, let me go first because it's going to be short and quick for me, and I think you have a good one. So let me start this off. So I ended up buying a new pinball machine.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't bought a pinball machine in probably, 5 years?
I didn't, but it's interesting. You immediately jumped to the last time you bought the pinball machine, yet I was wondering, what's the theme of the pinball machine?
Terminator 2.
Okay, cool.
It's a really fun machine. I don't know if you like the film. I mean, I don't know anybody
who
that
doesn't
hates it.
Not like that. I mean...
But it's a really good machine. I bought one a long time ago and ended up selling it to kind of trade up to a different machine. And I always regretted it. And I finally decided, I think I'm going to get this. It was in really bad shape. It wasn't working properly. And I think I'm about 85% done fixing it up. So it's looking very nice, but it's not playable yet. That's the only thing. But once it is, it's a lot of fun.
Well, look at you. I love that you have projects.
Yeah, I like projects.
That's my Beth Edith Bunker impersonation.
Oh, that's horrible. Well, I mean, you have your Cabot Cove home that you're building in a little doll form, right?
Very slow progress too. I think about it more than I actually work on it. But, anyway.
What's your stumbling block there? Why did you
going to the
stall on
desk
it?
and getting the set out and building the outside of it, which is
so you've got the interior done? Is that right?
I've got some of the furniture. I've got the wallpaper. I think I have the stuff along the wall. I can't remember what that's called. Like a
Paintings?
Not paintings, but it's like a that goes along the bottom of the wall. People are yelling.
Oh,
the base, the board base of the.
Well, yeah, why can't I think of it all?
Yeah,
the baseboards.
Baseboards, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'll accept it. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to tell. Wait, what was I talking about just now? Anyway, okay, sorry. Okay. I just came back from Florida about a week ago or so to visit my mother, and I was there during my birthday, which meant that on that day we got to go to a movie of my choosing. Okay. And there was
Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, fuck you. There's like if it wasn't for Alien Romulus, I don't know what the hell I would have seen. Because there's like nothing, and I'm not going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, and they said something like so millennial. I said that's the most millennial thing I'll hear all day. But they always have this thing like, oh, I've never seen a single movie in Star Wars, and they're like all proud of it. I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna hold out, and I'm not gonna watch any Marvel movies for the rest of my life. Anyway, my point is, the only movie that we had, it was going to be Alien Romulus. So we drive out. I'm like, can you buy tickets online? And, every time I ask something, she looks at me like I have two heads, and she says, oh, no, that's not how it works down here. Like, what do you mean down here? What are you talking about?
Now, this is your mother.
Yes!
Saying this.
Mother, you live in the panhandle of Florida. It's not like I'm like busy city guy coming down to meet his country bumpkin parents. You don't understand how things are down here.
Yeah. That's funny.
So she looked up the time, and I remember the time was like 4:05, and she goes, okay, well, you get the tickets at the same place. You get them at the concession stand, which I thought was kind of weird. And then you take your ticket to the ticket taker, who then, tears your ticket, gives it to you, and lets you know which theater you're going to. So I say two adults, one senior, because there's 50 cents off for Alien Romulus. And with that, with the concessions that we got, it was $75 even. I remember that.
Gravy.
And I was like, okay. And I walk over.
Wait,
I'm like,
for 2 tickets, and what did you buy? I'm guessing popcorn and soda?
Medium popcorn, large soda. She had a bag of candy, some kind of like...
A bag of candy?
Willy Wonka type
did
yummy
this
gummies.
come out of her purse, or...?
No.
Okay.
It was like a Willy Wonka gummies or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so we get to the theater. We walk in the theater... And we bought handicap seats because my mom is handicapped. She's got COPD and fibromyalgia, and she can't walk very far. And I suddenly realized that we had unwittingly bought 4DX. Is it 4DX? I don't remember exactly what the name of it is. That shit where you sit in the chairs and they move around during the movie.
Oh, and cool.
Blows water in your face. Yeah, cool. I'm kind of excited. I'm like, oh, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, okay. What's this? She was the first. The first thing she noticed that was amiss. I knew what it was as I was.
That's why your tickets were so... That's why it costs so much. You probably bought the most expensive seats.
Exactly. And then as she sits down, the first thing she says is, "What's this button? Water? No water." And I said, "Well,
Oh no, really? It has water."
yeah." I said,
Well, I wouldn't trust they ever clean out those whatever the water's being stored in. But go on.
"Oh, didn't think of that, Steve. But now I am going to think of that. But okay." So the previews start. Do not ask me what the movies were. I do not remember. They were some action movies. But what I do remember is, of course, during the previews, they show you the most action-packed parts. So you're moving back and forth, and all I can think is, this is going to kill my mother. And I don't know if we should just stop now, or I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so after the preview, you know how there's that silence in between previews? After the preview, she says, and everybody in the theater could hear her probably, "This can't be good for seniors."
So did you leave? What happened?
Well, we remained and we watched Alien Romulus because the movie was not as intense as the previews, let's say. But still a lot of fun. But so yeah, Alien Romulus proper. There's been a lot of. I think I've seen mostly positive. I don't think maybe a couple Facebook friends have said they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I was expecting like maybe kind of a shitty film. Like they're not going to be able to reinvent the wheel with this one. I mean, they're. I mean, it is in definitely my top 3 of all the Alien movies. Maybe in my top 2 with Alien.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's crazy. So wait, I'm sorry. Alien's your first?
I think it might. I have to see Aliens again.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's so strange because they're two completely different type of films within the same universe, which I thought was a great idea. I mean, I think instead of trying to make them all this horror, solo scare thing, it's the second one was an action-packed, basically war film.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like how this movie manages, because it's set between those two movies, how the set decoration manages to blend those two eras together. Like, the Nostromo was kind of a piece of shit ship, but wait a minute, hold my beer, let me introduce you to Romulus and Remus over here, which are just as old as the Nostromo, actually, because we meet, it's a spoiler, but yeah, I'm not going to say what it is. Nick, you know what? No, if you're not interested, folks, just move ahead like 5 minutes or so. I don't know. There's one thing that they do in this, and I didn't think it was done right, and that was the CGI, or whatever you want to call it, with Ash. Yeah. And I know a lot of people complained when it was Peter Cushing in one of those Star Wars movies, but that was only for a few seconds. I'm kind of like, But this is so weird. I know his family signed off on it, but this is so weird. And all I could think was, wait a minute. The android's name is Rook. Rook? Bishop. Those are two chess. Maybe this was supposed to be Lance Henriksen and something happened. And he backed out for some reason and they got, I don't know.
I was excited to see the character. Well, kind of. They take whatever from Ian Holm and reproduce him on screen, and I was kind of happy with it, but the effect just didn't land for me. It was obviously artificial. I feel like they could have gotten around it by having his face half falling off from the attack, because he's only the torso up, or just maybe have him for a brief moment and then the rest of the film have him on a screen, which they kind of did at the end. Because if he's on a screen, you can cover that with static, but yeah, it's that uncanny valley thing.
And I felt also that if they created it just had like a new actor in the place of that, and create a new character. But I get what they were doing. This idea that every craft was equipped with an ash or a rook,
A scientific android or whatever.
Yeah, and
a robot.
There's not a lot of world building in this. Oh no, there is a lot of world. There's building upon worlds that sort of already exist or do already exist. But the action and the suspense in this movie were supreme. They were really well done. I don't think I've been this thrilled since seeing The Mist in the theater when it first came out. And
oh wow, you really liked it?
Yeah, I really liked it a lot, and I can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray or 4K, whatever, so I can have my copy when they come for us. So yeah.
Well, what did you think of the performances? Like one of my favorite characters was this Andy, played by David Johnsons. I thought he was a standout character. I think he, to me, he was the best performer in the film. But
yeah, I totally agree. Best actor goes to that guy. There were some issues also I found with the sound, but this might have been the theater. But it was what chain was it? Regal? I think it was Regal. Who does the four?
Oh, did you get a popcorn bucket?
No, we were maybe 2 days after it came out. What day did it come out? Do you remember?
Ooh, let me look that up. I don't know.
Oh wait, my birthday was on a Monday. I don't know. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But no, it had already been out for a couple days by the time that we saw it. So they were fresh out of buckets. And I could have been like, could you look in the back? Maybe you have some that you forgot about.
Yeah, I'm sure those went quickly. Those seem to have been real popular. I mean, I went the week before, and I had difficulty finding the one I got. But what do you think about the main character, Rain?
Oh, she was great. There wasn't anybody here really that I just didn't give a shit about. There was some about the sound. There was a miscommunication. I don't know if it was my problem or a sound problem, which may be my problem. I don't know. But I didn't understand. There were two characters that are brother and sister, and up until the very end of the movie, for some reason, I realized that they were actually brother and sister. Or they were I'm sorry. I thought that they were a couple, but it turns out that they were brother and sister. Right. Kind of like, do you know the couple that I'm talking about? The big girl and her boyfriend.
Yeah, no, they bring that up in the first like 5 or so minutes of the film when Rain meets them and they hear their plan to board this space station. Okay. It's talked about. I liked it too. I mean, there's some issues. It's not perfect. Kind of with the things you've already said. But I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. 4.5 out of 5. Great movie. I think I may have liked it more than you.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. That being said, let's press on for An Egg to Die For.
Jesus. All right. So I was when I was watching this on my delicious DVD set that it's such a pain in the ass to pull the DVD out of this little collection. It had no intro.
That's right. Yes, that's the first thing I noticed as well.
I wonder why that is. Why some have them? Well, most of them have it, but some don't.
Maybe because they ran out of time to record it in time. Like maybe Angela didn't come in that day because she was hungover or something.
Oh, well, one, I doubt that, but I thought it was just because they didn't have a copy to put on the DVD. Like, I feel like they would have had it when the show was live, or not live, but when the show aired originally. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't watching it back then.
That's your mistrust of old television companies getting to you. And like from Doctor Who and stuff from the 60s, when after the thing would air, they'd be like, well, what's this? Power of the Daleks? Oh, just throw it into the bin. And then 60 years later, it resurfaces, and nerds everywhere rejoice. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So the episode does not start in New York, does not start in Cabot Cove. It starts in St. Petersburg, Russia?
Yeah. I'm like waiting for you to say Russia. Russia.
Well, like, is it the USSR? I mean, I don't know, because it's...
good point. Good point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this scene is a year prior to the episode. Mm-hmm. And we see that there's a black market deal going down in the alleyways of St. Petersburg, and some guy, he's got a Faberge egg, and he's shot.
He looks like he's meeting somebody, and he's going to give them this package. Could you tell it was a Faberge egg at that point?
Well, he shows it.
Oh, he does. Oh, okay. I didn't remember that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy he gives the egg to shoots him dead, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those, isn't it? I was like,
what a what?
One of those Michael Haggerty ones where it's not really who done it. It's like them
Spy
chasing,
thriller.
Yeah, them chasing around in cabs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. And then we go to present day. Did you say this already? Miami. Is it South Beach, Miami? Yeah, Miami Beach.
I don't know.
Fun fact: according to IMDb trivia, no part of this was ever filmed in Miami. And I clutched the pearls. I was like,
even the scene in St. Petersburg, was that not filmed there?
I don't think so. They didn't say that though. Was
it on a Universal TV lot? Maybe, I don't know.
I really want to know the person who wrote that trivia and submitted it, and I want to know who that is, and I want to be like, how the fuck did you know that? And they're like, it turns out, sir, you don't understand. I'm Mrs. Lansbury's son. I've been doing it all these years. But yeah. So go ahead. What happens in Miami?
So apparently there's a book fair. For her new book. So she's doing a book signing for her new book, Venomous Valentine.
Wow.
There's got to be someone who's tracking her novels. Like, what books did she write?
There should be. There should be. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not a speedy typer. I need to put on the glasses, do all that, and but yeah. I think I saw somebody put together a dollhouse collection of her books, like little miniature books for a dollhouse library.
You own that, I'm guessing.
No.
Not
I
yet.
didn't get it for some reason. Probably because it was so expensive. But, okay. I just want to say this is an international book fair, but it was very unclear to me who was who, because I thought that Jessica was there as a vendor, and one of the first guys we meet is Charles Devon, and I thought he was Jessica's editor, or was he her publisher, because she's always got one of those tagging along.
No, he is. He owns some bookstores. I remember he's trying to get some money so he can become as big as Walden Books.
Yeah, he said Walden Books and
some other one I did.
Brontanos, which has to be part of Crocs and Brontanos, which is a chain of bookstores in Chicago. I don't know.
Did you recognize the actor?
Yes, I did. Was he in another episode of Murder, She Wrote? Because I didn't...
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything that I recognized.
Yes, he was a police officer in season 1. We're off to kill the wizard.
Okay, all right.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
All right,
As a little boy.
So, okay, all right, yeah. Yeah, okay. Don't remember.
He's been in a few others, but I can't remember if we've done them yet. He was in The Grand Old Lady. We saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is probably what I recognize him from then.
And Night of the Coyote. Did we ever see that one?
Yeah.
Or review that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been in a few.
Oh, he was the murderer in Night of the Coyote. Don't ask me.
Which one? What was Night of the Coyote about?
Night of the Coyote was the one where she's in. It's New Mexico. She's in New Mexico. I was going to say Arizona, but I think it's New Mexico.
Oh, when she loses her pin and.
Yes. And Graham Greene appears out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, you found your pen." Blah 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 blah. Do you remember? Is it coming back?
Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah.
And
he was the murderer in that one. That was good.
Yeah. But anyway. So that's Charles.
Go ahead.
That's Charles. Charles has a wife who co-manages the business with him. Her name is Marcy. Her brother is also involved in the business, although he's a bit of a scalawag. Apparently, he opened a bookstore for them, and it didn't go well. But he
probably he's kind of slimy looking. I'm assuming he turned it into like a adult bookstore. Is my guess.
What's the movie where cartoon stuff or video game stuff comes out in real life and like does stuff and attacks stuff?
Cool World or Roger Rabbit or
I think it was Adam Sandler was in it, and I'm picturing like a giant digital Pac-Man.
Yeah. What was the name of that? Like Pixels or something.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a little different because, but this guy, he looks like that, like as if Leisure Suit Larry were to appear in a Murder, She Wrote episode.
Yes, he does. Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry. He sure does. Yeah.
He's got the hair, the gold chain, the pink suit, everything. So that's Leo, and we meet. One of the first times we see Leo is he's meeting some suspicious-looking stooges out back. And they're like, well, you owe us that money. When are you going to give it to us? You've got 48 hours, else we'll get real serious. So he owes these guys $500,000. But these guys are then scared off by, what's this guy's name? Sergei Niminov. I'll just call him Sergei. He's a Russian dude, beard, whole thing. He scares the bad guys off. Now...
And I'm sure you recognize him, by the way.
Yes, I do. That, of course, was David Ogden Stiers from MASH. And
I feel like he's done a few. I mean, he's probably well known for MASH, but I feel like he's been in a few Murder, She Wrotes too. I just can't think of it.
I feel that you're right. He you know who he reminds me of? Rob Reiner. But
really,
yeah. By the way, about maybe 5 minutes into his introduction to the story, I thought he was the murderer for a long while.
Because he was so suspicious?
Well, he was so friendly and not suspicious, so therefore he must be the murderer. But then, it turned out to be not that. So we meet some other employees at this company.
Well, hold on. Let's talk a little bit more about Sergey. Mm-hmm. So he's a police officer from St. Petersburg, investigating the whereabouts of the Faberge egg and a tiara. And I think he's already recovered the tiara, so he's now looking for the egg. Plus, his brother is scheduled for execution in Mother Russia. Because he's the one that was convicted of shooting the guy who stole the egg in the shooting in the alley. He's convicted of that. So he's looking to save his brother as well.
Right. Now, if I may, Steve, what do you know, before you saw this episode, what did you know about Faberge eggs?
I didn't know very much. I knew they were kind of like these really fancy, very fragile, rare eggs from Russia with jewels all over them. But I'm kind of curious. I guess I could Google this. But do they actually take real eggshells, or is that just
No, because they did not use real eggshells that I know of.
okay?
But only 69 were ever made, and they were made by, I think his first
Faberge?
name is Peter Faberge. Yeah, his father created this jewelry business, and he designed one of these eggs. It was purchased by a member of the Russian royalty. It took off. He was appointed as imperial jeweler or something to that effect. Wow. And during that time, they would request eggs from him to give to friends and family for birthdays, Christmas, whatever.
Wow.
And that's all he did.
That's great.
And they weren't just the eggs, the statue that we see here in this episode, but they would open up. It was almost like, what do you call that in Hellraiser? A Chinese
puzzle box?
Mm-hmm. It opens up, and there's something inside that, and something inside that, kind of like a Russian nesting doll. So it's really, actually, I didn't know. I'm like, Faberge egg. I could look that up and tell people, shit that they didn't realize they needed to know today. It's a service, and it's free, ladies and gentlemen. So we bring the savings onto you. You can't lose. You can't lose with something like this. Anyway.
Okay, well, back at the book fair, we are introduced to Valerie.
Reality, Sean.
Yeah. Okay. We were introduced to Valerie and her love interest, her boyfriend, Ben. Valerie's father, you brought up Hellraiser earlier. I'm sure you recognized Andrew Robinson.
Oh, yes. We've seen him before in this as well. Larry.
Yeah, he was
Larry from Hellraiser, and I completely didn't even think of him when I mentioned Hellraiser before. I totally forgot at that moment. Okay.
Now, he's definitely been in Murder, She Wrote before. I know he was in, was the Murder in Cork, or...
Yes.
Is that the name of it?
A Killing in Cork.
Or Killing in Cork?
Or he may have been in Nan's
Killing in
Ghost.
Cork, yeah.
It may have been Nan's Ghost, but I think it's A Killing in Cork. He was the murder victim there, too. Spoiler.
Yeah, he was a millionaire. I guess he just plays asshole millionaires. I guess that's like the casting people are like, okay, we need a guy who can portray a jerk of a millionaire. And they're like, I know the exact person, Andrew Robinson. He's got it down. Poor guy. Anyway, so he's the
he played a real jerk in Small Wonder, and then you go from there to Murder, She Wrote to Hellraiser.
Small Wonder. What?
I'm saying the actor didn't really start out in Small Wonder.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to think of like what the bottom tier would be, and Small Wonder was the first.
Was he the evil robot protagonist for Little Vicky? I mean, what?
Could you imagine it though? I mean, I'd see it. I'd watch it.
And why do I know the main character's name from Small Wonder? That's so weird.
I totally missed that. You're absolutely right. Because we are children of the 80s.
Well, Vicky it was an acronym for something. I can't remember what it was. But her name was an acronym for something. Kind of like K9. I don't know.
But let me ask you this. Hold on, Steve. Hold on.
Okay.
Would you rather live with Vicky the robot from Small Wonder or Mr. Smith from, I think it was Mr. Smith in Washington, or Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, like the movie?
I have never seen that movie.
I'm talking about the TV show, which has nothing to do with the movie.
I didn't even know it was a TV show.
Oh, okay. So the thing in that is, it's a family living in D.C., and they have a pet orangutan that's like a senator or something, and it can talk. It can talk.
Of course,
it talks. Sure. And I'm totally not making this up. that was an actual show. I mean,
So it wasn't based off the movie, is what I'm guessing.
No,
that
it's
was
not.
a serious film.
No, it's not based off the movie.
A TV adaptation of the film, of the classic 50s film. I'm guessing, whatever that came out. Anyways, okay, so funny.
Babs, let's get back to Aggie Waggies. I love Aggie Waggies. that's
So
my
Valerie, Valerie is the daughter.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah. So Valerie is the daughter of James Harris, the millionaire. I don't know how rich he is. And her boyfriend is trying to become a doctor, so he's waiting for this scholarship to come through. But right now he's working as some kind of packing or errand boy or something.
Yeah. It's not clear what he does. It's not clear what a lot of these people do. And I thought that they were in a hotel. And I thought they were in the same hotel throughout the entire episode. It didn't occur to me that later on when the murder occurs that they were at his house the whole time. Until the murder we actually see them, go in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really poor set decoration, and I really couldn't tell one location from the other. And
Well, it's probably all the same set, so
Yeah.
that may not be your fault.
it's why when I wrote down Valerie's name, I wrote next to her hotel manager for some reason.
Well, so the father, Mr. Harris, does not like Ben. For whatever reason. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He's going to be a doctor. I don't know why you would, because he would tell Valerie, oh, he's no good for you. Really? Most people would be happy to have a son that was a doctor, or son-in-law as a doctor. So
it's never really explained why he doesn't like him. He just has to not like him so that we have another two characters that have a motive to kill him.
Right, but we know he's innocent because he knows Jessica from when he went to school at Cabot Cove. So he's innocent. He's just going to take him off, even though they give him a really good motive. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what else? As she becomes we find out she's Jessica's friend. Not only he does become more innocent, but what goes up as well is the likelihood that he will be wrongfully arrested for the murder as well.
And that's what happens.
That's what happens. Yeah.
So, we see Sergei trying to sneak into the book fair. I don't what. Would they have a security guard, an armed security guard at a book fair? I don't know.
I don't know.
They've thought that was a bit overkill.
They had him at Austin Comic Con, but
did they?
Yeah.
Armed?
Yeah. I mean,
really?
the place wasn't swarming with security. It wasn't the Baghdad airport or something like that. But I think that's the norm now. I think that insurance probably requires X amount of security if Y amount of attendees are expected to be there.
But this is when Sergei bumps into Jessica, and of course he's a big fan. He's like, I've read all your books. That's a horrible Russian accent. I'm sorry, but he's a big fan. We got to have a big fan of Jessica's.
That's the second big Russian bear who's a fan of Jessica's. The first was
all right,
the Ironsides guy whose name is escaping me now. James Conrad. It's not Robert Conrad. Conrad. But when he was the big burly Russian detective, went on about her books as well.
That's funny because it seems like Jessica must have a bigger following in Europe.
That's right. I remember
in the UK. If you're a British man, you cannot control yourself around Jessica Fletcher. She is irresistible to you.
You know what?
Will be, but and I guess in Russia, maybe cross into Russia as well. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
So
maybe there's a quality about her that's very European, that's very sexy.
Okay. Yeah. But okay, so where were you? Where were you in the story?
So James Harris catches Valerie and Ben, and they want to get married, and he kind of shows his displeasure. And I like that Mr. Harris seems to be the obvious. I think he's obviously Frank from Hellraiser, not Larry. Frank was the evil brother that got slaughtered, and then he killed his brother Larry and took on his form. So I think he's more like Frank in this episode. But he's been reconstructed from the Cenobites and probably changed his name to kind of, so the Cenobites couldn't find him. At least that's my in-head theory on that.
Cenobites.
I know. Wouldn't you want to open a Cinnabon kind of place in an airport somewhere and name it Cenobites, and you could have different types, like one that has toothpicks just sticking randomly out of it, and I don't know.
And nobody would get it at all.
No.
They're
and
just
then you
there
could have like
for
the really big one, which I'm trying to remember. What was the name of the Cenobite that was fat?
Butterball.
Butterball. Then you could have like a really big one, like double the size of a normal Cenobite bun, and it'd be just really big. Yeah, you can name them all after the. That's so cool.
And then you and your friends can have a pool, and how soon Clive Barker's going to show up with a restraining order or a TRO or something like that. And
all the people at the counter would have to wear black leather.
Oh, we'd be sued by Clive Barker and Cinnabon probably. Don't worry, honey. We're in Texas. We're judgment proof. Trust me. I'm winking. I'm winking, but the viewers can't see. Or the readers, sorry. So, yeah. All right. We haven't got to the murder yet. Isn't there a murder in this episode of Murder, She Wrote?
Oh, so we were talking about Marcy earlier. Apparently, she was a love interest to Mr. Harris. At some point, but she ended up dumping him and marrying Charles. And then that's, I guess, they opened up the bookstore. What was the name of the bookstore? Like Love for Books or something like that.
Yeah, it's something similar to that. It's something really hokey.
But for some reason, they got a loan from. Are they asking for a loan from Mr. Harris? Like, why would you go to him? Obviously.
They have a loan from him, and as part of the promissory note that they signed, is that if they defaulted on the loan, which means if they didn't pay the loan by whatever date, fill in the date, then the loan he has a legal right to foreclose. Usually, it's on their business interest. So now their business is going to become his business, because he's refusing to give them 30 more days to pay back the loan.
Right.
So he's basically, I mean, when I saw that, it's just like, you're gonna die. There's just being thrown out willy-nilly all over the place.
He's a super asshole.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And usually you can predict where the murder is going to be. Couldn't do that in this one. Sometimes I can. Not with this one. Because there's no Fernadents. I tried to get it in somehow. I told myself I'd bring up Fernadents.
What's a Fernadent?
Remember in that one episode? There's a murder, and naturally the police let her walk around on the scene of the crime. And this one was in New Orleans, but I can't remember the name of it. And she says, "Well, detective, look at the Fernadents." And she right moved.
Yeah, the dents in the carpet from the couch, right? The front of dents. I'm thinking it was going to be something even more I don't know, more interesting than dents in carpet, but whatever. So, we forgot to say that Sergei is undercover. No one knows he's a cop. Even he's there illegally. He's not. like police and the FBI don't know he's there doing an investigation, so he's there kind of undercover illegally.
He's there he's like James Bond in License to Kill, where he decides he's going to go get back at, I think it's the Cuban Mafia, for killing the wife of his friend Felix Leiter. Sorry, that was a bit of a bunny trail, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that was okay.
But no, seriously, he's like James Bond in License to Kill. He has the skills to be a bad guy, and now he's gonna walk away from work, and he's gonna go and do some personal business. And it's quite possible, is what I thought, that that's why I thought this character might be the murderer. I thought he might be he seems like a bumbling fool sort of, but maybe that's all a pretense, and he's really a mad scientist or something akin to that.
Sure, that makes sense.
All right.
So Jessica overhears Sergei on the phone, and she's able to decipher that he's there undercover for some purpose or another.
She understands Russian. She understands Russian
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sergei's prime suspect is Leo, because he's the one that has dealt with I guess Russian imports and illegal activities and stuff like that. Yeah.
Basically, he has a rap sheet that makes him most suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, I think he's there because somebody found out that the egg that was missing was spotted there. So therefore, the person that's responsible for the murder that his brother went behind bars for is with that egg. So it could be a dual purpose mission for him. It could be a revenge mission, and it could be to steal the egg and become a millionaire. So
right. So they befriend each other, and Jessica's going to help him kind of find the egg. Of course, we found out almost immediately after that scene that Harris is the one that has the Faberge egg, and he's got it in his little secret room where he's got the egg, and he just stares at it. He just loves it. It's just probably the rarest. I think they even say it's the rarest thing he has in his collection.
Do you know what? You know why he's got that collection? You know why he has that cool collection? Which I think I saw Van Gogh back there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doctor Who podcasters. Van Gogh. But what was I saying?
Collection.
Collection.
Well, here I got something to kind of add to that while you think about what you were about to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is odd to me? Would you ever own a fountain inside of a house?
No.
Wouldn't that produce a lot of moisture?
Yes.
The mold, the smell. Because if you have an aquarium or if you ever had something like that inside, it produces an odor. And not only that, would you put a invaluable Faberge egg on a stand in the middle of the fountain? Like that, if there was a Van Gogh, that's fucked with all that moisture. It's a closed off room. There's no windows. It's fucked.
Did you see there is that museum in I think it was in Israel? I think last week a little kid knocked over a big ancient vase that they had on display.
I heard something about it. What was it? I didn't read it.
His dad was looking at something, then he turns and looks, and he can't find the kid, and all of a sudden he saw him at the last possible second, and he just wasn't there in time to stop the thing from falling down. And
did the father walk out and say, I don't know who that kid is?
Sorry, bye.
Who's that kid? I don't know. I don't have any children.
Yeah, that would have to be the worst right there. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Anyway.
So, I don't know if we mentioned, I think we did, but so Harris has kind of the purse strings on a few people in this episode, which is why he's going to be the one to die. He's preventing Ben from getting a scholarship because he is a founder or he's an alumni of the school, which he made a donation for like another wing of the library. So he put in that he does not feel Ben was a good enough student or whatever, and so they turned down his scholarship. And the money situation with Charles and Marcy for the loan. So he seems to really enjoy being a dick.
Yeah. So he's going to have his comeuppance, obviously, and he does, because is this where he dies, Steve?
Yeah. So he has a party, and Sergei's snooping around. He pretty much finds the hidden door to the room to the collection, which is like a big mirror, and of course Harris finds him and interrupts him. Fortunately, Jessica steps in, kind of save him. What?
I remember what I was going to say before, because you mentioned the art. You know why he's got that big collection of nice art? Because I'll bet you he got that office, and like one of the highlights of it was that it had a secret room. And he's like, well, that's pretty cool. I've always wanted an office with a secret room. I'll take it. And then he moved in, and then he's like, shit, I've got this secret room. I've got all this money to spend. What will I do? And that's when you decide, am I going to turn it into a collection of fine art, or am I going to turn it into my personal dungeon?
I was about to say for BDSM.
Yeah, because I don't know what else, unless you're a serial killer, I don't know what the hell else the secret room would be used for.
If you had a secret room, what would you do with that, personally?
Like, how are we talking? Like maybe like a walk-in closet?
No, like a full room. Like it had a secret entrance, like a mirror or a bookshelf in a fascade of sorts. But it went to another room. What would you do with that?
I don't have anything secret that,
Well, it wouldn't have to be secret, but kind of I think it'd be interesting. There was a guy on Reddit who had an extra room built onto his house, and the entryway was a police box. And so you would go through the doors, like the TARDIS, and inside was like his movie theater room. I always thought that was pretty cool. God, I wonder how much that cost. But would you maybe have a movie room, like stadium seats?
You know what? I like that idea. It would have come to me eventually, but I like that idea. Yeah, I'm going to do movie theater. State of the art, only the best. La 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 la, spare no expense. I don't know why I just turned into a musical. Oh my gosh.
What?
Maybe it's that ghost guy from that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You all know who I'm talking about, even though I don't remember his name, but people have seen that too. And you have to be careful with Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans. They're very, very delicate.
So, yeah, okay.
All right.
Where are we?
I think we're now post-murder or pre. We're pre-murder. Is it time for the murder?
Time for the murder. Yeah, everybody is going to go eat dinner, and all of a sudden we hear Valerie scream out loud.
Yes,
she has found Daddy dead.
Yes, classic.
Daddy is dead.
Classic.
Dead is Daddy. Yeah.
Classic. Give 15-year-old Sean a boner, but not a sexual boner, but somewhere where there's a fancy dinner party and somebody screams and, oh my god, a body, and everybody comes running in their fancy dress, and somebody else goes, oh, good god, and all that. Love that kind of shit. And that's exactly what we have here. So
it was really weird because when Valerie found his body, it was torn to pieces all over the place. It had been almost like someone tore him apart. Actually, I'm kidding. No, it was just found drowned in a water fountain.
I'm like, huh?
From Hellraiser.
Oh.
His ear was in one place, his eye was in another.
Oh, I should have gone along with it. Or I should have thought of what you were talking about. That way I could have ended it with, Jesus wept.
No, he just drowned in a a 3-inch pool of water
that he had in his art room that I'm sure does
introducing moisture into those valuable, rare items. Oh my god, crazy.
So we find out that he was hit with a ivory or an ebony, is it white ivory, an ivory sculpture.
Okay. Well, no, the song "Ebony and Ivory" just popped in my head.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
I haven't thought about that song in years. Okay. Who sang that? That was Stevie Wonder and... Was it Sinatra? No.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. This is not my ballywick. Okay.
You ever see the SNL skit? It was Sinatra and Stevie Wonder, and they're playing tennis together.
I think so. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
And Joe Piscopo is playing Sinatra, and Stevie Wonder's played by oh shucks, what's his name?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a hilarious sketch.
I'll take the black guy from the 80s SNL for $500, Alex. Okay.
So, Lieutenant Perez is the investigator on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want... Okay.
I
don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, no, he's the investigator, the police officer that's going to investigate the murder.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so it's them that explain about how he was hit with an ivory statue, and he fell into the 3 inches of water and drowned. Okay.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the crime scene guys did a really, really shitty job because they didn't find something that a 65-year-old woman can see without her glasses from about 4 feet away. So...
Well, not only that, when they go into this secret room, all the artwork is on pedestals. All the pedestals have something except for one, and they don't know to look for the missing object. Did you notice that? Because that was where the ivory statue or whatever it was stayed. It was on a pedestal, but there was nothing on the pedestal. That would be of interest to me.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
But it took them some time to figure that out. I think that came later as a clue.
You're talking about something else, and it's really freaking me out. What are you talking about?
In the room that had the collection, everything had a pedestal, like a tall 4-foot pedestal that it was sitting on.
Okay.
Like the ivory statue would have had something. Another thing was on the same type of pedestal. They surrounded the fountain. And there was one pedestal that didn't have anything on it. And I would think, because they didn't notice that right away, that something was missing off the pedestal.
Oh.
I would think that had been stolen too, or I don't know.
For some weird reason, I thought that you were doing a thing where you were talking about something else completely different. And I thought it was a video game or something where you have to rearrange pedestals and vases to make it...
Oh, maybe I saw Resident Evil?
Yeah, or maybe I also saw it on a reality TV program while I was drunk or something. I don't know. Like the floor is lava or something.
Leo is on the run, by the way. So he's not only are the cops looking for him, but the mafia is looking for him. He's kind of in a situation. So he's asking Marcy to give him some cash so he can just get out of Dodge and go hide.
And this isn't a good time to be asking Marcy for cash because her and Charles's business is about to go under, and they're going to have the what's his name, Andrew, the dead guy. His name isn't Andrew. He was going to foreclose. Now I don't know if his death would necessarily stop the foreclosure, but they were he was real asshole to both of them anyway. So maybe they just want to kill him for that. So.
A character we haven't brought up yet is actually really important is Victor Roscoe.
Who's this dude?
I don't know what he does, but he seems to be a friend with everyone. He's an older guy. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's the older guy. He makes drinks for people. Yeah, it's not clear. But he seems to have a position of some status because he has a really comfy office. When Jessica's talking to him later on, she finds out that his father was I think it was a violinist named Vladimir. Gosh, I don't remember if I wrote down what Vladimir Roskanovich or something like that. So then when Victor moved here, they Americanized his name from Victor Ramaskonich to just Victor, whatever his last name is. Roscoe. Jesus Christ. Why could I not remember that name? That's the name of the gay bar I always used to go to in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Roscoe's. Oh, God. Why? Roscoe Lee Brown. The guy, when you say Roscoe Lee Brown, of course I'm like, oh, it's the guy from, Rest in Peace, Mrs. Columbo, and the guy's obviously done a lot more than just that.
Yeah.
But anyway. So.
Well, yeah, and we hear that he's trying to help. He's trying to help Marcy and is it Charles? Jeez, I already forgot his name. Trying to help them out, seeing if he can pull some favors to extend the loan or whatever. So he seems like a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there's a problem.
And what is that?
He talks about his father, who is like you said, a violinist, and the camera zooms in on that picture. I'm like,
so
that isn't suspicious at all. But so he's Russian background. We're talking about a Faberge egg. I think I know who did it.
Yeah. That's pretty much when I put it together. I was like, oh, he's got it up. Yeah, he's the nice guy. He's the he flies under the radar in the office. Yeah, I think he's the murderer. Makes sense. But there's another clue that they show later on, and that's the fact that before he was killed, he had an argument with his daughter, and she had the letters, I think, that he had written to the board of the admission board of the medical school that Ben was applying to.
Oh, Jessica.
She had slammed it on his desk. I said it was him. No, it was Jessica. She slams it on his desk. She notices that after the murder, those papers are gone. But that never really goes anywhere, does it?
No. Did they ever explain where the papers went? I don't remember that.
I feel like they were I can't remember either. But I remember that's why they then show her with Ben and Valerie. And I'm led to believe they were referring to them. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, the Lieutenant Perez is like, I think he feels like it's Valerie is the killer.
Mm-hmm.
But then Ben covers for him and goes, no, I killed him.
Yes, that's right.
And they go back and forth like, no, I killed. They're trying to get the other one out of being a suspect. But that's when Jessica goes back to the water fountain in the hidden room and sees a little gold medallion with the initials BP, which is Ben's initials. What's Ben Peterson?
Yeah,
is his name. So it's him. So they arrest him and take him away.
Of course, nobody would have thought, it seems kind of suspicious that we didn't see it when this lady saw it, but okay. No, that's okay. It's all cool.
Yeah, I wonder if Lieutenant Perez is like telling his people, like, what is wrong with you? You can't see shit. Looking for clues. Because Jessica's showing him up a lot in this one.
Now, if I was Jessica, I'd probably feel really bad that I was the person that spotted the evidence that puts my friends or my old student behind bars. So, darn it, this is another murder I have to solve.
Yeah, right. It's like all our students. If you meet a student of Jessica's, you will be a suspect, a prime suspect for murder. It's just a guarantee.
Could you imagine?
She gave me like a B+ on my paper, but now I'm in jail. Not worth it.
Could you imagine your 10-year like college or high school reunion or something?
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting around and you're like, wow, I wonder whatever happened to Mrs. Fletcher.
Okay.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Excuse me. Hold on.
This is the old edition of Sean and Steve. We can't remember names or what sentence where we're leading with conversations.
No, I think I'm gonna cut this part out because I completely forgot what I was going to say in the middle of a sentence. So, okay, maybe I ill-timed something here, or I don't know. I'm anyway, but okay.
Okay, so Lieutenant Perez, I think he's figured out. I'm just going to follow Jessica around because it seems to be leading to everything I need. And he sees Jessica walking with Sergei, and arrests him for I don't know what reason, being there illegally. I don't know.
Walking with Jessica, which is like, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah. Imagine if you were one of Jessica's like former students and you go to your 10-year anniversary reunion. I never go to those things, by the way. I find them painfully awkward. And I bet you they sit around and they're like, so, remember Professor Professor Fletcher? Yeah. Well, she invited me to this outing in, I don't know, California next weekend. So I'm looking forward to go. No, Kathy, don't. You can't go. Don't do it. It could even be you, but someone's going to die if you go with her. Do you think they're like that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Or Jessica is at the reunion and she's sitting in the corner looking forward to speaking to all her old students and no one will go near her. She's just sitting in the corner. Just sipping on her dandelion wine.
Or if they don't have that, which she asks anyway, even though she knows they don't have it. She'll walk into a shanty bar in, like, Chicago. Wait, can there be... Yeah, there can be shanty bars in Chicago. And she'll ask for, like, do you have dandelion wine? Well, then I guess a white rosé will have to do.
Still never bought that bottle.
Oh.
I think, was it you or somebody else wrote in where you could buy it? I can't remember.
They did. This was the champagne.
It wasn't cheap. No, this was the dandelion wine.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were talking about... Okay, all right, dandelion wine. Okay.
And I don't think it was cheap either. I think like shipping was like $20 or $30 or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, not worth it.
So back at the book fair, Jessica's talking to Valerie, and she sees a sign, and she all of a sudden her mind clicks. It's a clue. She sees the name Veranda Publishing, and then like I guess the Russian version of that on the top, and she remembers that certain letters are mixed with the Russian alphabet. So, for example, BP would actually be like VK or I don't know. It's
VR. Roscoe
VR.
was his last name. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's interchangeable with BP. And someone or other, they get Leo to come back to call Victor to kind of trick him into coming back into the office. And that's so that night, Victor goes into his office and he pulls out the egg, and that's when Lieutenant Perez catches him in the act and arrests him.
Yeah.
And he looks so hurt, too, because he finds out it was all Jessica's plan to trick him into coming into the office, too. It's like, Jessica, I thought you were my friend.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. It's not how it works with Jessica. But she says something to him like, oh, and by the way, an innocent man is going to be executed tomorrow if you don't also confess to the crime that he committed, that he was framed for. And he's like, fine, I confess, I did it. It's like,
and I shot Kennedy, too, on the grassy knoll. I confess to all the murders.
And Sergey is like, oh, good, all problems solved. I make phone call right now. Or, no, he just acts happy. Okay, all problems, don't, my lawyer will call you or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And in Mother Russia, when Sergei calls, his brother's actually like standing next to like a concrete wall with a cigarette in his mouth and a blindfold on. And there's these 5 guys with rifles. You hear, ready, aim, and then ring, ring. Oh, 1 moment.
Is that from The Simpsons or something?
It's from a British comedy show I'm thinking of, but...
Monty Python?
I don't think you would know this one.
Oh.
Blackadder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I haven't seen this. All right. Sorry, everybody. Short British television interlude right there.
Yeah. Oh, there was one clue, which I've seen this episode twice. I missed this clue both times. I want to see if you remember this. So, when they're discussing the clues that kind of make Victor the killer, Jessica says something about the missing button, which he lost during his struggles with Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember her looking down at his button?
No, they didn't do that with that. I mean, if they had, though, wouldn't that be terrible?
Yeah, or they did it so quick, but I missed it both times. So
there was another one that we saw where the killer was a guy wearing a white tux, and I think he had just killed a lady who was wearing red lipstick, and there was a little smear of red lipstick on his white tux lapel. And it's like, blink and you won't notice it, because they didn't do that usual crap thing where they
zoom in on it.
Exactly, yeah. And you know what? It's really disappointing, too, because this is season 11. And I would have thought that eventually the show would have kind of matured out a little bit. But I think maybe the opposite happened, because it turns out that that's who their primary audience was people who had matured out from watching, regular dramas and all that. So,
okay. Well, are you ready to? Oh, one other thing I did want to mention.
Yeah.
So when Victor Roscoe is caught in the act of stealing the Faberge egg off the stand in the middle of that fountain, and this is when Harris walks in on him, which prompts the struggle. But it reminded me of the scene in the first Indiana Jones movie, not Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and too bad he didn't have like a bag of something in one hand, because he's like reaching over the water, just gently trying to take it off its perch.
Huh.
I don't know. I thought that was funny.
I have to look at that again.
Probably read more into that than it really was.
It's been playing in front of me, but I haven't had my eyes on it the whole time. I mean, I know that there's nothing as fascinating as Murder, She Wrote on mute. Man, but anyway. All right, yeah, I guess I'm ready to rate this.
All right. Well, through the power of technology, I wanted to freeze frame on the Faberge egg to see, because I thought I saw a number on it.
Yes.
And power of technology with DVDs, not so great. It doesn't give you a very clear still shot, but I'm pretty sure on the egg it says 1916. Are you?
I'm actually sipping my drink. No.
Oh.
No, I'm running to the grocery store to get one of those fake little books that looks like a newspaper cover from 1916, like, the war rages on, or whatever it says on there in 1916, whatever people were reading about.
And I did pull up on Google when Faberge eggs were made. Mm-hmm. They were made from 1885 to 1917, so it kind of fits that. So I think that's probably what it is.
And
1960.
I looked up on Wikipedia. Why? I don't know why I just said that in a slightly Hispanic accent. I don't know why it came out like that.
I don't either.
Okay, I looked up on Wikipedia about Faberge eggs, and I think the number was 57. There's 57 still existing, and they have where you can go to see each one. And they're all over Europe, of course. And a couple, though, are in people's private collections. So there are actual real-world Andrews, that probably keep it in a secret room in their house or something.
In the middle of a water fountain.
Yeah. This is the Faberge egg. Oh, gosh. All right, 1916. Mm-hmm. 1916, one would say, it doesn't look like a good year. I'm thinking of the what they called the Great War, because there wasn't any World War I, so they didn't call it World War I. I would give this. I'm trying to think of numbers, man. No, there were the cool things about this were that it did tell a story within 45 minutes. It didn't feel like it was stretched out. It didn't feel like it was pushed in. I didn't like that. You know what? I have more things to complain about this than... Oh, no. You know what else I liked? I liked the gotcha clue with the Russian and the English. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool and classy. And that also explains why they had her, understand Sergei when he was on the phone. On the payphone to Russia, I guess. That's what it was doing.
It's going to cost more than a quarter.
And what if you're like, fuck you, and hang up? Oh, no, they make you put the money in, I think, before they hang up on you.
Or you could call the operator and say, I'd like to call a collect call. And then the operator calls, I don't know, whoever's over there. And it says, do you accept the charges? I don't know. That's stupid. Go on.
No, it's not. No, it's for the children. You're dedicating your time here for the children. Don't you understand? Anyway, okay. I'm going to give this a... You know what? This checks off all the boxes of a good Murder, She Wrote episode. But, those are just elements. You have to take those elements and pretend they're puzzle pieces and try to make the best puzzle picture you can out of them. So the question is, all of our elements check off the boxes of what should be in a murder. We have Jessica's friend, check. Jessica's friend will be wrongly convicted or wrongly arrested by the police, check. The villain is a evil, hated guy, check. That's your... A lot of these are... Or there's a house party, check. Something like that. Another one.
There's a yacht club. Check.
Yeah. There are no poor people. Check. It's true. I'm sorry. The last poor person I remember is the guy with the psychic dog from the one about the winery. Remember that was the last poor person.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's it. That's
what are you rating?
Oh, I didn't give it a number. 1637. 16 and then 37. I just thought of something random there. So if that unbalances your scale, so sue me. Tell me what your damages are, and I can fulfill them.
You know what occurred to me as you were giving the score is that the other friend that Jessica had was Marcy. She had, I guess, when she opened her first book, little guess there. She opened her first bookstore, and I guess Jessica's book was the book that she sold her first bookstore. So they were good friends from that. At one point, her husband, Charles, said something to the effect that, like, you know, do what you need to do with Harris to get him to see if he'll prolong the loan or whatever. And when she goes to the party, she's all dolled out, and she wants to talk to him privately. Was she about to fuck him for the money?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this one, actually, and I'm really surprised when these later seasons are this enjoyable. So I'm going to give it I don't know, I guess 1800. I think is
really
fair.
1800. Dun, 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 dun. Oh no, that's 1812. Right. That was in a Poirot story where a guy like broke into his safe at the rhythm of the 1812 overture. Anyway, all right.
There's also a pinball machine called Class of 1812. So.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. It's that time of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, the cats are here. Here, I'm gonna try and like sound like I'm like closing out the show with like Paul Schaefer. All right, Steve, the cats are here. They've got their wheel and they're all wigged out. They're ready to find out what the next episode you cats are going to be talking about here on the Cabot Cove Confab podcast. Go ahead and spin it, Steve.
Groovy. Okay, spinning it now.
All right, great. All right, we're going to be watching something, and oh, I like this. I love this.
Oh.
Now, you know how the game is played, Steve. I'm going to give you the name of the episode, and you're going to tell me what it's all about, all right?
Alrighty.
The name of the episode is Death Goes Double Platinum. Why is it funny?
Just because. It's going to be double murder. It's a murder-suicide.
It's a murder,
which involves some kind of recording studio exec and
right. Okay.
Okay, that's my guess.
All right. Did I bring the wrong piece of paper, or did I have the wrong spreadsheet up? No, I didn't. Okay, hold on. Here it is. Okay. Jessica works to help an up-and-coming band. Excuse me. Jessica works to bring an up-and-coming band land a recording deal, but the bass guitarist finds himself singing the blues when his sister is implicated in a murder. Steve. There's a little gay boy inside of me that is so thrilled that we picked the one, or the cats picked the one, about the boy band from 1995.
This could be a hard watch.
Oh, I'm so excited. I may even watch it tonight before I go to bed. I didn't know that this existed. I've never heard of it, so maybe it's not that good. But
I'm looking at the pictures, and it looks like the Partridge Family to me.
Really?
On screen. Let's see. There's an ice pick. Ooh.
One more thing. I could call this... They made a documentary about that guy that managed those boy bands, like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. I can't remember what it's called now for the life of me. But that was really good. Okay. Well, it's time to say goodbye. Say goodnight, Steve.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Cabot Cove Confab. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Cabot Cove Confab or email us at cabotcoveconfab@gmail.com.